Diane began by apologizing profusely. She says she posted to relieve her insecurities and never meant to offend anyone. She said she'd always felt like an outsider in our family and didn't know how to deal with it. She said becoming a stepmom to 3 kids was hard, especially because she never wanted kids. She stated she felt pressure to be flawless and be the cool stepmom we wanted. Diane also discussed her childhood to explain her actions. Her family was problematic and her mother was emotionally abusive. She bottled up her emotions and vented online since she never learned how to express them. I listened to her. Unfortunately, her apologies was hard to accept sincerely. How can you say you love someone then trash them online for years? Diane's apology was appreciated, but I don't trust her again. We discussed her posted instances for an hour. Sometimes her memories were very different from reality. She had created a story that didn't match reality. One incident stuck out. Diane tweeted that I excluded her from my college graduation. It was true that I had asked Dad to bring Diane and handed her a bonus mom card to thank her for her assistance. Diane seemed bewildered, as if she had overwritten the memory, when my stepmother lied about loving us for years while unleashing her wrath online. I ruined our family and depressed my sister by exposing her. My dad, 52M, and stepmom Diane, 45F, have hosted me for a year while I finish my psychology master's. Dad married Diane at 16 after my parents split at 10. I have 2 younger siblings, Alex, 19M, and Sophie, 17F, and Diane and Dad have Ethan, 4. I always liked Diane as a kid. She tried with us kids, and I never felt like she treated us differently from Ethan. We had some awkward times as we adjusted, but she started painting again, her release. Alex and I try to keep Ethan's life normal. He's been to the park and zoo with us, attempting to give him fun, despite household strain. I'm still mad at Diane, but I'm trying to heal and go on. Whether she stays with us is unknown. At the moment, I'm taking it day by day and trying to support my family. The whole incident has made me consider future partnerships and step-parenting. I thought I knew blended families, but this has shown me how complicated they are. Thanks to my friends and family for their support. It brought home the significance of having a strong support system outside of family. What happens next? I don't know. Dad and Diane begin couples counseling next week, but I'm not optimistic. We're all focused on healing and moving on, whatever that means. I was lucky to have a kind stepmom. Our family has remained close after divorce. For our benefit, my parents kept a civil relationship and held large family events with both sides. Diane fit in well, bringing her famous apple pie at Thanksgiving and organizing Christmas Secret Santa. I remember Dad introducing Diane to us. At 14, I was still processing my parents' divorce. Diane was patient and compassionate, never pressuring us to accept her but always offering to help. She brought us gifts, books she thought I'd like, Alex's new video game, Sophie's painting supplies. She seemed sincere and wanting to connect. Diane became a friend as we aged. She advised me on boys at school and helped Alex apply to college, and craft with Sophie for hours. I was scared things would change after Ethan was born, but Diane made sure we felt involved. While printing something for school on Diane's laptop last week, I realized she was still connected into her email. I saw a parenting forum notification just before closing it. I clicked out of curiosity. What I found deeply startled me. Diane vented about her hatred of us stepkids on this site for years. She whined about us and couldn't wait for Alex and Sophie to leave. Sophie's drama was criticized for being annoying. Sophie has had anxiety and depression since middle school, while Alex was lethargic and unmotivated. The worst posts were about me. Diane wrote several times that I was manipulative and tried to separate her from my dad. She claimed I excluded her and was too attached to my dad. She also indicated our relationship was wrong since I hug or lean on my dad while watching TV. All that reading made me nauseous. I believed we had a good connection, but Diane has despised us for years. She's been acting all along. While scrolling, I noticed posts from when I moved back in a few months earlier. Diane grumbled repeatedly about having an adult freeloader, even though I pay groceries and electricity. She stated I was hindering Ethan's development by hogging attention. I'm devastated and unsure what to do. I want to confront Diane, but I'm afraid it will make things worse. Despite my unintentional spying, I feel guilty. Should I inform my parents, siblings? I don't want to ruin our family, but I can't deny knowing this. How do I connect with Diane now that I know her true feelings toward us? I repeat our conversations, wondering if I missed the indications. Was Diane always a good actress? Or did something change to make her hate us? In context, Diane has always felt insecure as stepmom. She worked hard to bond with us kids when she and my dad met. It can be difficult to plan elaborate family outings or give us pricey gifts. Mom didn't like it, which generated stress. One instance occurred when I was 17. Diane planned a surprise Disney World trip for us. Even my mom. She thought it would help everyone unite, but my mom felt uncomfortable and declined, causing a massive fight with Dad. Diane was crushed, and I wonder whether that changed her. Diane retreated as we aged. I liked that she gave us room and didn't demand a maternal role. Maybe she was expressing her actual feelings. The Sophie comments upset me most. My sister has had mental health issues for years. It's been hard since she was diagnosed with anxiety and depression at 15. Diane has always supported Sophie, taking her to treatment, researching coping methods, and creating a church mental health support group. His discovery that she sees Sophie's condition as drama is sad. Sophie had panic attacks many nights, and Diane would hold her hand and help her breathe for hours. Was that a ruse? The concept sickens me. My dad's relationship allegations confound me too. We're constantly close. I admit to being a daddy's girl. Nothing is incorrect about it. My dad and I have many interests. We hike, watch sci-fi movies, and argue about politics. I never thought Diane worried about it. Alex's laziness worries me too. My brother struggled in high school and had a gap year before community college. He works part-time at a bike shop while figuring out his path. Diane constantly supported him, helping him explore job choices. She seems to perceive him as a deadbeat. I'm considering telling my siblings. Sophie lives with Alex most of the time when not at mom's. Do they deserve Diane's true feelings? Does telling them inflict unneeded pain? Part of me wants to leave right away, but I only have a few months left in my program, and moving would be very difficult. I'd feel bad leaving my brothers and Ethan. I'm furious at Diane after years of deception. I trusted and considered her family. I now believe our relationship was entirely fabricated. Where do I go from here? Can't unhear what I read. Blowing up my family seems horrible too. I'm lost and need help with this mess. The saddest part is that I keep thinking about our bonding moments. Diane showed me how to prepare her renowned apple pie. She helped me choose my prom dress. Was she gritting her teeth and resenting every minute with me? I doubt everything. Ethan worries me too. He loves his elder siblings and wants to play with Alex or have Sophie tell him books. How long before Diane's resentment affects him? Will she turn him against us? The weight of my big secret is eating me up. Every conversation with Diane feels forced. I'm worried I'll snap and confront her in public. Being a psychology student makes it worse. It should be easier for me to handle family drama. My training is useless when it comes to my family. I need some direction. Do I confront Diane? Tell my dad? Keep it to myself and leave ASAP? I see no good choice. Bad to varied degrees. Update 1. A week has passed since my last post, and much has transpired. Everyone's ideas and support are much appreciated. I decided to tell my dad what I found after days of agony. I felt bad hiding this knowledge from him, especially since it affects our family. I invited Dad to coffee outside the home. He was shocked when I revealed Diane's private forum account. He initially disbelieved me. He maintained that there was a misunderstanding. He lost color when I showed him my screenshots. Father was upset. He couldn't believe Diane had had these feelings for years without telling him. The remarks against me and Sophie particularly affected him. We discussed everything I found for hours. Dad questioned several of Diane's occurrences. Her stories often differed greatly from reality. She twisted innocent situations to degrade us kids. A certain instance stuck out. Diane received a photo album I produced of our family over the years for Christmas last year. She appeared moved, almost crying. In her forum posts, she complained that I purposefully chose photographs that didn't contain her or looked ugly. We felt like we had two separate experiences. Dad was ready to confront Diane after our chat. He needed answers and couldn't proceed without them. After we came home, Dad wanted Diane to talk privately. I took Ethan to the park for space. The house was tight. When I returned a few hours later, Dad informed me Diane originally dismissed everything as venting and didn't reveal her actual sentiments. But when Dad probed her on specific posts, she became defensive and upset. She accused me of violating her privacy and tried to deflect. Diane finally acknowledged to years of anger against us stepkids. She felt like an outcast in her family and was jealous of our closeness. But she secreted these sentiments and complained online. Dad informed Diane he needs time to think and decide. He suggested she remain with her sister to give everyone room. Diane went yesterday afternoon. I'm relieved everything is out in the open, but sad and apprehensive about what's next. Dad feels lost. His struggle to reconcile the Diane he knew with her secret side is clear. Finally, I informed Alex and Sophie. Alex raged but wasn't surprised. He always sensed tension with Diane but couldn't pinpoint it. Sophie was heartbroken. She revered Diane and feels misled. Sophie told me a heartbreaking story. Diane took her on a weekend getaway last year when she was depressed. Sophie called it one of her happiest weekends, feeling like she finally had a mom who understood her. Now she's doubting its authenticity. We're now supporting each other. Dad's great. We must recognize this is not our fault. To absorb everything, he's getting Sophie to see her therapist more often. Our family's future is uncertain. Part of me hopes Diane and Dad can resolve things through counseling. A larger part feels trust is irreparably destroyed. Knowing her genuine feelings, how can we trust her again? Right now we're taking it day by day. Dad claims he prioritizes kids' safety and support. He promises to monitor our family dynamics more. My feelings about things are still digesting. I feel wrath, grief, and numbness. It's hard to focus on earning my degree and helping my siblings when I'm thinking about all the years of lying. Ethan is wondering where his mom is. I hate seeing him bewildered. Dad has been great with him, but Ethan senses the house's stress. If anything big happens, I'll update. Again, thank you for your support and wisdom during this tough time. Update 2. Almost a month since my previous update. Many things have transpired, therefore I wanted to update you. Diane remains with her sister. She and my dad have talked, but nothing has been decided. Dad is still trying to understand everything and decide if there's a way forward. After the first shock, we youngsters are still battling in our various ways. Alex is obsessed with work and rarely comes home. Sophie's anxiety and despair returned. In school, she struggles and spends much of her time in her room. It's exhausting to step up and help everyone. I feel like I'm walking on eggshells trying to support my family and manage my emotions. The absence of bothers Ethan. His mom says he's having nightmares and misbehaving at preschool. Dad is great with him. Ethan clearly detects house tension. Diane requested a meeting last week. Against my better judgment, I consented. As expected, our meeting at a neutral coffee shop was unpleasant. Reminded her. I was exhausted but relieved after our discussion. It felt good to release some of my hurt and fury. Diane looked sincerely sorry, but that may not be enough to overcome years of lying. I told Dad about the encounter thereafter. He was delighted we could talk but warned me not to expect a rapid settlement. He said he and Diane have a lot to work through before making relationship decisions. Everyone is attempting to find a new normal. Dad has been fantastic, supporting and loving us throughout. He's been spending more time with Ethan to keep him stable. I'm staying home after graduation to help with the kids and Dad. Not ideal, but family comes first now. Alex and Sophie need stability, and I want to help. Sophie now sees a family trauma therapist. Helpful, it appears. As she leaves her room,